Intonation. Introduction. The three English suprasegmentals of pitch, stress, intonation, and rhythm, are interrelated. The syllable is central to them and their language interwoven features. Though we study language in portions for ease of learning, it does not mean that when stress is applied, intonation is not, or rhythm is ignored. They all function together. In this study section, we will discuss intonation. Note that in our study of intonation, we shall need a knowledge of stress because intonation relies heavily on stress. Learning outcomes. When you have studied this section, you should be able to explain the concept of intonation, discuss the components of a tone group, produce different possible configurations of tone group, state the functions of tune and draw a tune pattern for it. Explain the concept of intonation. It is important for you to know at this juncture that the spoken language does not only consist of variations in sounds and ancestral stress patterns alone. A very vital characteristic of spoken language is the musical pitch of the voice. When English sentences are made, they are characteristically altered with variation in pitch, which may either rise or fall. This is referred to as intonation. Intonation is often an area of difficulty for second language users of English who have tonal languages as their first language. It is good to know the difference between intonation and tone. For Nigerian students, this is important because most Nigerian languages are tonal, not intonational like English. Intonation is used in all languages, whether tonal or intonational, but the uses differ. In the case of tonal languages, it is applied to contrast the meaning of individual words, e.g., Yoruba, Igba, Calabash, Igba, time. In the case of an intonational language as English, intonation is not a property of the word. It operates at a level above the word, the tone group. Intonation affects grammatical units such as phrases, clauses, and sentences. Do not forget, however, that there are instances where a single word could be functioning as a complete meaningful unit. In this instance, the word will be taken as a tone group. Yes, as a response to the question, "Are you traveling tomorrow?" is a complete thought. It is therefore considered an intonation group. Note, Chinese, Japanese, and most African languages are tonal. Consequently, the pitch pattern of an English sentence will be referred to as its intonation. Intonation patterns carry different information about sentences, depending on whether the utterance is a question or a statement. Whether or not there is an important word to be emphasized in the utterance, and the attitude of the speaker towards what is being said, or the hearer, e.g., yes with a falling tone is emphatic, while yes with a rising tone is either doubtful or a question. Before looking at the various functions of intonation tones, let us take a look at the components of a tone group. Tip: in tonal languages, intonation function on individual words. In intonational languages, it functions on a tone group. Components of a tone group, TG. In our previous discussion, we learned that a tone group is the minimum domain of intonation as opposed to tone, which has the lexical words as its domain. A tone group may be a lone word utterance, a phrase, a clause, or a sentence. Earlier, you came across the example of the word yes. Yes, when uttered alone, could constitute a TG. Other grammatical constituents that usually coincide with a TG are phrases, clauses, and sentences. The TG has four components, which are the optional, pre-ed, ed obligatory, tonic syllable, and optional tail. Now, let us take these components one after the other, starting with the pre-ed. The pre-ed refers to all the unstressed syllables that come before the first stressed syllable of a tone group. Let us look at the following example. TG, that is the wealthy man that gave us his beautiful daughter to her. It is good to note here that your knowledge of sentence stress will really help here. You should not forget that in a word group, content words are stressed, while grammatical words are left unstressed. Let us mark stress on the appropriate syllables of the sentence. That is the wealthy man that gave his beautiful daughter to her. The pre-ed for this intonation group is that is the, because the first stressed syllable of this group is wealthy. The ed is taken from the first stressed syllable to the last stressed syllable in the group. The ed of this group is wealthy man that gave is beautiful. It is everything after the pre-ed up to the last stressed syllable. The tonic syllable or nucleus is the last stressed syllable in the group. As the term suggests, is the only obligatory part of tone group, though other parts are optional, not present in all tone group. The tonic syllable is obligatory and indispensable. It is the tonic syllable that is assigned the pitch direction. If the pitch should fall, it does on the tonic syllable. If it should rise, it does on the tonic syllable. The tonic syllable of this tone group is the first syllable of daughter, which is do. It is the last stressed syllable in the group. The last of the components is the tail of the TG. The tail is every unstressed syllable after the nucleus, just like the tail of an animal. It goes in whichever direction the pitch of the nuclearly stressed syllable, i.e., the tonic syllable, goes. The tail of this TG is ta to a. Now, let us analyze the entire component together for clarity. That is the pre-ed. Wealthy man that gave his beautiful head, daughter, nucleus, held to tail. As earlier stated, a TG may not have a pre-ed, ed, and tail. It must have a tonic syllable or nucleus. The nucleus is also called the tonic syllable, so do not be confused about the two terms. Do not forget that it is usually the last stressed syllable in the TG, and it is usually on this syllable that this pitch direction is effected. Study the following. TG without a pre-ed. Mary married Jane. TG without a ed. He is handsome. TG without a tail. Mary married Jane. Don't be confused. The pre-ed is constituted of all the unstressed syllables before the first stressed syllable. Not all tone groups have it. The ed starts from the first stressed syllable and ends on the last stressed syllable. Again, not all tone groups have it. The nucleus is the last stressed syllable. A tone group must have it. The tail is every unstressed syllable after the nucleus. Not all syllables have it. Other possible compositions of tone group. We discussed earlier on that a word could constitute a TG. Let us look at the word unfortunately in the sentence, unfortunately he died. In this sentence, there are two tone groups, unfortunately and he died. Two different tunes should go with the two tone groups. Unfortunately should be assigned the rising tune, while he died should be assigned the falling tune. On, for, tunately, prehead, nucleus, tail. The word above, which often in speech constitutes a TG, has on as the prehead because it is unstressed, for as the nucleus or tonic syllable being the last and only stressed syllable of the word, and tunately as the tail being all that is left after the tonic syllable. It should be noted that the tail must go in the direction of the tonic syllable. If the falling tone is assigned to the tonic syllable, the tail will continue the fall. But if the rising tone is assigned, the tail will continue to rise. Intonational tunes. You know already that intonation is the variation in the pitch of utterances. When someone says, "It is not what is said that angered me, but how he said it," the issue is usually an intonation misperception or undertone. In this section, we will discuss the tunes and the various functions they perform. Do note that English intonation is more complex than what you will learn here. However, as an introductory course, the basic tunes and functions we shall discuss here will be adequate. There are basically two intonational tunes used in the English language. These are the rise tone and the fall tone. There are, however, variations of each type to suit the purpose for which they are being used, e.g., fall, high fall, low fall, high rise, low rise, rise fall, fall rise, etc. The appropriateness of an intonation pattern for any sentence will depend on 1. The ancestral meaning, 2. The grammatical type of sentence, 3. The attitude of the speaker, and 4. The general and more specifically the intonational context. Jimson, 1975. Intonations performs different grammatical functions, such as differentiating between types of sentences, such as statements, WH questions, which are questions beginning with when, where, what, why, how, etc. Yes or no questions, technically called polar questions, which require the respondents to either answer yes or no. Commands, warnings, and requests, exclamations, and greetings. Intonation also performs an essential function when a particular word in the sentence needs to be given prominence above the others. In this case, the word not minding whether it should customarily be the tonic syllable, i.e., the last stressed syllable, or not, receives the pitch change and automatically takes up the position of the TS, e.g., he bought a car. Ordinarily, car, being the last stressed syllable of this sentence, should be the TS, but if bought is to be made prominent, usually for contrastive purposes, as implying that it did not sell a car, then it automatically takes on the function of the TS because the pitch direction will now change on the monosyllabic word bought. He bought a car. Do learn how to draw the diagram above for tone groups. Means unstressed, means stress, but not the tonic syllable. Means tonic syllable. Functions of the tones. Let us take a look at the functions of the various tones, starting from the fall tone. Fall tone. It is used to show finality. That is, that there is no other information expected in that utterance. We use the following tune for the following. Simple statements. This is because statements often gives the impression of finality. There is often no additional information expected. The man is a genius. Mike loves to play basketball. Mark loves to read Harry Potter. Simple commands. A command is an order that must be obeyed. This is usually uttered by a superior to someone under his control. Close the door. Erase the drawing. Kick the ball. WH questions. WH questions are questions that start with words such as what, who, why, where, how, etc. For this type of question, the tune should fall on the last stressed syllable. What is your name? Who is your teacher? When is your examination? Exclamation. An exclamation is something you say suddenly and loudly because you're surprised, excited, or angry. Wow! Fantastic! Incredible! These are uttered with the following tune. Simple statements, simple commands, WH questions, exclamations. Under simple statements, the man is a genius. Simple commands, close the door. WH questions, what is your name? Exclamations, wow. Simple statement, Mike loves to play basketball. Simple commands, erase the drawing. WH questions, who is your teacher? Exclamations, fantastic. Mark loves to read. Kick the ball. When is your examination? Incredible. Rising tune. The rising tune is used for polar questions, polite statements, changing statements to questions, etc. Let's start with polar questions. Polar questions. These are questions that require either a yes or no response. Are you the prince we are looking for? Will you visit your friend on Monday? Did you eat rice and fish at the party? Polite request. This is to politely or formally ask for something without offending the person you are addressing. Please close the gate. Could you shift for me? Pass the salt, please. Changing statements to questions. You can use the rising tune to change sentences that have the structure of your statement to questions. Statement. You are a teacher. Question. You are a teacher. Statement. They love singing. Question. They love singing. Combination of the fall and rise tune. We also need to combine the rise and fall tunes when certain utterances are made. Rise or fall combination. To separate clauses. These two tunes are combined when there are two or more than two clauses in a sentence. The incomplete part is said with a rising tune, while the clause that completes it is said with a falling tune. Whenever the cloud gathers, it rains. As I was looking around for a stone, I saw a snake. Inasmuch as you are honest, you need not fear the panel. Listing items. The rise or fall tune is also used when listing items. The rise tune is used on each item until we get to the last item, which takes the fall tune. 1, 2, 3, and 4. He bought a pair of shoes, clothes, and ties. She got some pencils, erasers, and biros. These utterances are uttered with the rising and falling tunes combined. To separate clauses, listing items. Under to separate clauses, whenever the cloud gathers, it rains. listing items 1, 2, 3, and 4. As I was looking around for a stone, I saw a snake. He bought a pair of shoes, clothes, and ties. Inasmuch as you're honest, you need not fear the panel. She got some pencils, erasers, and biros. Fall or rise combination. Tag questions. Tag questions are questions that are formed by adding a phrase such as can't we, wouldn't he, or is it to a sentence. When we produce utterances that end with question tags, we use the combined fall or rise tune. The falling tune will be on the statement part, while the rising tune will be assigned to the question tag, which is a yes or no question. Statement is a genius. Fortune. Question tag, yes or no question. Isn't a rise tune. These two have to be combined such that the first part will take a fortune as statements do, and the tag will take the rise tune as yes or no questions do. He is a genius. Isn't a? Mary will marry John, won't she? I can use your book, can't I? These utterances are uttered with a falling and rising tune combined. Is a genius, isn't a? Mary will marry John, won't she? I can use your book, can't I? Attitudinal function of intonation. We can use intonation to show our attitude towards the person we are talking to or what we are putting across. Attitudinal function of intonation is more complex than what is discussed here, but this hint will guide us in learning to use some basic ones. Indifference. Low rise tune. You may come. I may dance. John could do it. Surprise. Rise tune. It is true. Mary married John. Nigeria won the Olympic gold medal. Uncertainty and doubt. Rise tune. She could make it here in the morning. It might be of help. John could play the role. Warm greeting. High or fortune. Good morning. Good afternoon. Good evening. Good day. Nice weather. Routine greeting. Not warm. Low rise tune. Good morning. Good afternoon. Good evening. Good day. Nice weather. Indifference. Low rise tune. You may come. I may dance. John could do it. Surprise. Rise tune. It is true. Mary married John. Nigeria won the Olympic gold medal. Uncertainty and doubt. Rise tune. Where she could make it here in the morning. It might be of help. John could play the role. Discourse function of intonation. Intonation also performs a discourse function on utterances. For example, in a context such as in the sentence, I am taking the dog for a walk. Dog is more likely to be the nucleus of the sentence because it is predictable that dog often collocates with walk. However, in the case of the sentence, I am taking the dog to the vet. Vet is more likely to be the nucleus. This is because though dog and vet collocate, its occurrence is not as predictable as dog and walk, since taking the dog to the vet is not an everyday affair. Study section summary. In this study section, we learn the definition of intonation as the variation of pitch of utterances. We also noted that all languages use intonation, but that the use varies with tonal and intonational languages. We also discussed the components of intonation as optional, pre-ed, ed, obligatory, tonic syllable, and optional, tail. We emphasized that the obligatory component of the tone group is the tonic syllable, and that it is on this tonic syllable that the tune whether falling or rising is assigned. We also discuss the basic intonation tunes and the various functions they perform, such as grammatical, accentual, and attitudinal functions. The basic intonation tunes are the rise and the fall tune, which have variations such as fall high fall, low fall, high rise, low rise, rise fall, fall rise, etc. End of study section 9. Thanks for listening.